Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We're going to get started in just a moment. We're just going to give everyone a few moments to get settled. All right. Well, I'd like to welcome you to our online sport administration virtual information session. We are going to cover a lot of content and ultimately hope this will help you to determine if our program is going to be a good fit for you. My name is Rashonda Butler. I am a student advocate here at the University of Miami Online Division. If you should decide to apply and are accepted to the program, I will work with you very closely during your first year of class to help you get acclimated to the online environment. We have a lot of content that we're going to cover tonight, and we hope that you find this information useful. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. First and foremost, we understand that your time is very valuable. We are going to be courteous of that. This session is going to take about 45 minutes. If for any reason you need to head out or if you're coming in late, don't worry. You're going to be getting a recording of this session. It'll be emailed to you later this week. Again, we're going to cover a lot of content tonight with regards to the courses and that you'll be taking along with the structure. You're going to hear from faculty within the program as well as 3 alumni as well. We want to make sure that this session is specifically geared for you. So if there's a specific question that you have for these panelists, you will see a Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to utilize that. We would love to cover any questions that you have, but we do ask that you utilize this time as efficiently as possible. So try to make sure that your questions are geared toward the content and the structure of the program. If you have any specific questions with regards to application items or financial aid, be sure to connect with one of our enrollment advisors. They look forward to speaking with you on an individual basis and will help you through the process. So I'm thrilled to have a fantastic group of panelists joining me today. We have faculty member Wendy Dees. We also have alumni with us, Iva Early, Leslie Fitzpatrick, and Elliot Safdie. So thank you all for joining me this evening. I'd like to just take a few minutes, have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit as to what you do here at the University of Miami. And for alumni, let us know why you chose the University of Miami and when did you graduate. So we'll start with Wendy Dees. I think you might be on mute. There you go.
Yeah, so I would like to first of all welcome everyone to the session, and I just really thank everyone for taking the time to join the webinar. And more specifically, we're very grateful that you're considering our program for your master's degree because it's a really important decision. And so we're very happy to have you. We're excited you're considering us, and we'll be sure to answer all your questions and make you feel very comfortable to make your decision after this evening's webinar. So I'm Wendy Dees. I am a professor of sport administration here at the University of Miami in the UOnline master's program. But more importantly, I'm the graduate program director. So I do run our UOnline master's program in sport administration. So not only will I be your program director, but you'll also have me as a faculty member for 2 of your classes in the program. So again, thank you for joining us, and we're so excited that you're considering the U.
Okay, thank you. Iva?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Zoom. We're very happy that you're interested in the U. We're obviously very huge fans and proud alumni of our university. My name is Iva Early. I graduated from NC State in 2016, in which I enrolled in January of 2017 to the Miami Online program. Then the next, I would say maybe 4 or 5 months, I ended up accepting a position at the University of Miami. So after I finished that semester, I ended up transferring into an in-person master's degree in sport administration. I graduated in May of 2020, in which I worked in the university in athletics for 5 years. And I just switched over maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago to the Office of the President, where I work with our trustees and our president and coordinating their events that they're hosting or that we put on for the university. What attracted me to pursue a sport administration degree with the University of Miami. I am someone who researches everything before I just decide. I'm not someone who just decides on a whim. I definitely want to know a lot about it before I make my decision. So I visited several different programs, trying to see what was the best fit of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to do that, whether it was online or in person. And what was distinct about this program was the connections into sport and alumni, the trustees, the fan base, the donors, the brand, all of that, the flexibility, and that it was the same in person as it was online.
Perfect. Thank you. Leslie?
Got one of my coworkers here causing problems. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Leslie Fitzpatrick. I graduated in 2016, started in 2015 with the program. Had the pleasure of being able to get down to campus a number of times and, see what it looked like in person and understanding what it looked like being delivered online and seeing that it was all very much the same, which I think was really important to my experience and my understanding of what degree meant and what it would translate to after the fact. So I've done a bunch of these now with Ivor and Elliot, and of course, Professor Dees was one of my favorites. So it's just a pleasure to be back here again and to help impart any type of knowledge or information that I can to help you guys make an educated decision moving forward.
Thank you. Elliot?
Hi, everyone. Elliot Safdie here. I happen to be in South Florida, so I'm very close to the university. And I was fortunate where I could visit the campus many times. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. I graduated in 2018 with the online Master's of Science in Education and Sports Administration. My working background has been kind of all over the place: aerospace, agricultural, entrepreneurship, and a long career in military service. But I've always promoted amateur sports, and I currently teach technical courses at the airline, teaching engineering and maintenance courses. But I have a passion for sports, so I enjoy coaching and mentoring young people that are aspiring any career in military service, aerospace, student athletes. So I'm always there to support the youth sports. Today at work, we happen to have a bunch of young folks from high schools in South Florida that we hear, and we mentored and showed them the airline where I work. But that's typically the kind of stuff I gravitate towards. The university, the education I received there has helped me professionally and personally, and also helped me in my efforts to coach others as well. What attracted me to the University of Miami was primarily the fact that it's a respected university. It's a top 50 university. The professors that will teach the sports administration coaches on the online course are the same ones that teach the academics for those that are fortunate to go to school on campus. So it's the same education. I would argue it's probably a little harder to do the online because it's more challenging on the individual, but it's the same exact course material you're going to get. And the university's top 50. Recently, they just were accepted to become a member of the Association of American Universities, the AAU, and that's a very prestigious organization to belong to. It's formally recognized top-tier university for research. So that brand name, University of Miami, not just sports, but education, it's going to mean a lot when someone sees that degree.
Thank you. Thank you. So Professor Dees, how would you say the curriculum is designed to help students succeed in real world scenarios? What position does this sports management degree prepare them for? And what are some of the key skills and learnings that this program focuses on?
Yeah, all great questions, Rashonda, and I saw one of those in the chat. So the first question that I'll answer that we get from almost every student, which is an excellent question, is why Miami? I know everyone is probably considering other schools, which is wonderful, and you should, and we hope that you find the right fit, whether it's Miami or elsewhere. But there are three key factors that differentiate Miami in the online space from other, similar programs that are out there. So number one, I would say the small class sizes. When you're looking at online programs in other places, many big universities will use the online space to have larger classes, take in more students, teach more folks at one time in one class. And that's not what we do here. So what Elliot touched on with the program being the same online as it is on campus, we cap our classes around 25 to 30 students, which is exactly the same for our on-campus program. So we do that so that you can get to know everyone in your cohort. You become friends and colleagues with the group that you study with, and you'll know all of those folks. And more importantly, you'll get to know us as faculty members, and you can speak to us. We can Zoom, we can meet on campus. I have very close personal relationships with the folks on the screen. I've met all of them and spent a great deal of time together, maybe more than they would have wanted to with their professor. But that's very important to us that you have that close personal interaction, even in the online space. So I would encourage you to look at your class sizes at the other programs and how much time you'll have with your colleagues and your professors. The second differentiating point, again, that I think all of the alumni touched on, is that you have the exact same faculty and the exact same curriculum in the online program as well. So you'll have the same full-time faculty teaching campus classes as online. Iva knows that because she had us in person and online. And you have the exact same curriculum, the same 10 classes. So you're seeing me here tonight. You'll see me 2 more times for your sports marketing and your sponsorship class, because I teach both of those. And the work that you do on campus is exactly the same as you'll do online. And then the third differentiating factor is your access to the industry through Miami and through this program. So another thing that you might not see in larger state schools or in big online programs is access to industry professionals, networking opportunities, conferences. We have a full-time internship director and industry professional, Professor Paul Resnick. He's phenomenal, but he is dedicated full-time to helping all of our graduate students prepare for working in the industry, finding volunteer or networking opportunities either in Miami or near where you live. We have a sport industry conference every spring where we bring about 50 to 60 industry professionals from all over the world to meet with our students. Our online students are always welcome to come to that, as well as any other event on campus. So we have someone full-time dedicated to connect our students with the industry. And we also incorporate a lot of industry focused assignments and projects in our classes where our students are meeting with industry professionals or interviewing them, speaking with them to get information for their projects and assignments. That way they're building those connections along the way. So it's not a theoretical and research-based program. It's a practical program designed to help you step right into an industry position when the master's is over and have transferable skills and have people that you know that can hire you so that we can get our students placed right away, get them working, and have them prepared for the first day on the job. So those are the three most important things, I think, for students to look at with other programs and compare to the University of Miami. And then in terms of the class structure, which I think you brought up, Rashonda, that's also extremely important. And I think we've done a really good job of listening to our students, our online students, and structuring the classes in the best way possible for them to make progress quickly, but also manage the graduate academic expectations with the professional lifestyle that they have. So in a traditional campus-based program, you would be taking 16-week semester-long classes and taking 3 or 4 classes at a time and having to juggle all of those topics and assignments. But with our online program, we have structured it in a quarter system. So our students take 1 class at a time. They take that class every 8 weeks. So the semester starts, they're only taking 1 course. They focus on that course and that topic and those assignments alone for 7 weeks, and they go through 7 modules. And then the students will get a week off to recuperate and wait for us to post grades. And then they do another 7 weeks on in the next course and an 8th week off. So they're still completing 2 full 3-credit-hour classes every 16 weeks, but they only have to focus on 1 at a time. And so they're completing a 3-credit-hour class every 7 weeks and making that progress. But they're still able to juggle work, life, kids, military, travel, free time, and be able to get that, work in at their convenience. And then the last thing I'll mention related to the structure is that the courses are also set up to be asynchronous. So that's something I encourage everyone to look at in other programs as well. Instead of a synchronous online class where everybody has to log in at the same time at 7 to 10 p.m. at night on all the different time zones and sit in a Zoom class, our courses are asynchronous. So we have recorded all the lectures, uploaded all the videos, placed all the assignments online. Everything can be done at any time that's convenient for the student. And they just have to complete 1 module per week. So they can turn in those assignments anytime during that week. And they do that 7 modules in a row. And then have their 8th week off. So it's really much more conducive to people who are professionals or are busy or like the convenience of not having to log into the classroom. And we found that our online students have been very successful in that format.
Thank you. This next question is going to be for alumni. How have you tapped into the alumni network that UM provides its students? What does the brand of UM mean in the larger sports community and job market? And anybody can take this.
All right, I'll go.
Mhm.
I've tapped into the alumni network. I've gone to the sports conference that we have every year at the university for several years. I missed this year's, unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I've also gone to the legal symposium, which also touches on sports as well, several times. I've gone to the Topple Business Center for networking. It's a great organization that'll help you prepare yourselves for job market. I've gone to game watches where I've met other alumni, and that's a great place to meet people. They're located throughout the country, and I travel a lot, so I've hooked up with alumni in different cities and all walks of life. They're doing all kinds of things, anything from medicine to sports to law, business, you name it, they'll be there. So the alumni are everywhere. Once you graduate from the University of Miami, it's not like you're going to be forgotten. You will be receiving daily newsletters if you choose to enroll in that service through our email system. You'll have an email for life. I feel like graduating from University of Miami, I never really left the university, if you will, even though I was an online student. It's kind of an odd feeling. So you always feel connected. And there are also mentoring opportunities. You could be a mentee or a mentor. You can visit the campus at will. It's a great university. So once you graduate, you're still connected to the university for life. Kane for life.
Now I'll follow that with Elliot. Cane for life is actually not just a saying, but it is true. Whether you set foot on campus once or never, or you come here every day as, you know, being in person, having the U on your resume carries weight. It's something that's an international brand. No matter where you go, people recognize the U, people recognize the name. And now with the current certification that Elliot was talking about with the AAU, it's a huge accomplishment for the university to be invited to such a prestigious group. So not only does it have the weight of, you know, academia, but also the weight of sports. I feel like the U is what it is because of sports. We definitely help put it on the map. And so being a part of an institution that hasn't only experienced sports success, but is actively going through it, and has also the research and the professors that understand it and have seen it, that can teach it. And they've also worked in sport. They also understand what it is in the ever-changing and ever-evolving world of college athletics, whether it's youth sport or anything in between. It covers a vast majority of that. So the alumni that they have produced, it's a very tight network, and I'm actually very impressed with it because you can go somewhere. I actually traveled abroad with the my master's program. We went to London, and the people that we were interacting with that were showing us, whether it was the London series baseball game, the ticket person was an alum of the university. So we're in London and we're still meeting people that are proud alums of this program, and they understand what we're going through. We all have each other's backs. If there's questions that, you know, you can always talk with your cohort, you can always reach out to them after the fact, and you're constantly getting updated on their accomplishments and where they're going, especially with like the Facebook page, which I check almost every day. Alumni are putting up there, whether it's jobs that they are currently in and they're looking for another Kane that has been through this program. They want to hire like-minded people that have also, you know, done what they've done with the professor that they've done it with. It's a very challenging degree, but I think when you understand that, Canes care for Canes, and they want to hire other Canes. So I think it's the alumni network is fantastic. It's a very tight-knit community, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, I guess I'll close off on it. I went to school undergrad in New York City, to Columbia, and their alumni network is amazing, as you can imagine. And this one is one of the few that I would say rivals it, especially with regards to sport administration, sport management. It's a global brand. It's one that when I was looking at schools, kind of piggybacking on what Dr. D said, I wanted a degree that was reputable and that made sense. And, just knowing that the University of Miami had that brand recognition across the globe. And I'm from Trinidad originally. I guess I didn't talk much about myself, but from Trinidad originally. And I knew about the University of Miami since I was back home as a young kid. And the only reason I didn't go there for undergrad was because they didn't have a collegiate men's soccer team in D1. And, to Iva's point, when you go on and you get into your next job search and LinkedIn and all of that, I guarantee every time that you go on to any of the fields, the professions or anything, you'll always see Kane alumni, Kane alumni, Kane alumni. And to her point, it's such a tight-knit community that if you have that on your resume, it certainly pushes you up in terms of interest. And I have, I worked in private youth soccer clubs, and now I work for New York Red Bulls, which is obviously a global brand with Red Bull. And being in New York and certainly just being here, one of the things that they were really impressed with during my period of recruitment was that I had a master's degree from the university. So, and when you get the degree, even if you do the online, there's no differentiation. It's the same degree. There's no online degree, everything, the certificate, it all says University of Miami, so it carries a lot of weight.
Thank you. Wendy, with regards to faculty, how do you all make yourselves accessible for discussions and questions?
Sure. However, the student would like to connect with us. So we've realized post-COVID that there are so many ways that we can connect with folks. So with our students being from all over, we just really work with them to meet them wherever they are. So I've had everything from phone conversations to Zooms, to coffee on campus, to a beer at a tailgate, wherever my students are. Uh, Iva and I think, spent 2 weeks in London together on a study abroad with a whole group of master's students, and just really got to know her and her career, and it gives you plenty of time to connect with students and help them in any way possible. That's another thing. Our UOnline students can study abroad with us if they would like to go on any of our study abroad trips. We've been all over Europe for a study abroad class that Iva went on. We've had study abroad groups this spring come back from Brazil, where they were studying the soccer and the volleyball industry down there. And then we had a group just come back from Spain. We have a big partnership with La Liga, where our students are learning about international and sport and global soccer. So our UOnline students can participate in any of those study abroad opportunities. So anywhere that our students want to meet with us or speak with us, we're more than willing to do that. So if they're a student that wants to speak on the phone or Zoom because they can't get here, or that's not something that's feasible for them, that's fine. But then on the flip side, we have students that want to be a part of the campus community. They want to visit, they want to take part in some of the campus activities. They want to meet professors and spend time. So again, we meet our students for lunch or coffee or sporting events or, whatever, because like everyone has said, if you're a cane, you're a cane for life. And our program doesn't differentiate between campus and online students. So we're all one big cane family, and we go through this crazy degree together. And then, we do our best to help place all of our students in the industry where they're trying to go. And I saw that Hector had a question about what jobs are available. And I think that question was posed at the beginning, which I think is really important. You can see from this panel that we have a lot of people working in a lot of different areas. But what I'll say about the degree is this is a specialized business degree. So the good news is you're going to learn all of your business principles across the curriculum: management, marketing, law, finance, leadership, ethics. You're going to have a very strong foundation in business. So if you would like to use it outside of sport, the way Elliot does, you'll have that to fall back on. But you will also have very specialized sport industry knowledge from people who have all worked in the industry, and all the professors keep close contact with industry professionals in Miami and beyond. So we also have the ability to help place people in any area of the sport industry that intersects with business. So what I mean by that is, if you want to work in the front office of a league, of a team, of a high school athletic department, anywhere in college athletics, if you want to work in international sport for a national governing body, the Olympics, if you want to do community or youth sport or interscholastic sport, anywhere where there is administration or business acumen that's needed to run a sport organization, you will be prepared to do that. We've had folks go on and work in the product side of the industry. So we've had folks work for Nike or for Adidas or for CrossFit. We have people work on the fitness side of the industry. So anywhere that you're looking to take your business acumen and apply that to working in any area of the sport organization. That's what we prepare folks to do. And so that's why you see folks here working in coaching and administration for a professional team. Iva's worked at the highest ranks at the U in our athletic department, which is one of the top programs in the country. And she has knowledge of all aspects of how to run intercollegiate sport. You know, Elliot is a leader in the community in the youth space. And then all of these folks have incredible, you know, connections and great reputation outside of, you know, of their business positions. So that's what we're prepared to do for everyone that's on this call. And wherever you want to go in the sport industry, if you put in the time in the program, if you put in the effort to network and connect and volunteer or work in the sport industry when you can, when your schedule allows, while you're studying with us. And if you work with the professors and Professor Resnick to connect with industry professionals, you know, we're confident that we can get you where you want to go.
Thank you. Iva, this question is for you. At the time, how were you able to balance coursework with your other commitments?
So working at NC State in operations, I oversaw all 23 varsity sport home events, in addition to any outside rentals that people, you know, want to have a birthday party or a wedding or whatever. We did all of that at NC State. So it was very challenging to figure out time management, but I had to do it quick because I'm either missing work or I'm missing class. So you really have to put pressure on yourself and know your time management, your priorities, and align with that. I will say I never ran out of time because I prioritized what I needed to do. So I had to say no to maybe some social things, but I was also working 18 hours a day. And then I had the flexibility with my classes that if I can't get it done today, you know, I can do it first thing tomorrow morning and I can move some things around. The professors are also human beings. And I think we kind of forget that when we're talking about online. They are also humans, whether you're watching a pre-recorded video of them or you're in the classroom in person. They understand that you are working professionals. You're trying to break into the industry. You might have an internship that's taking up a lot of your time. They work with you. Now you're not missing every assignment, but you know, if they know that you're passionate about this, that you're serious about your degree, they work with you on your life. So whether that's kids or military, I think Dr. Dees had already touched on that. They understand, they work with you on that and see how you both can succeed. I will say when I switched to in person, it was a little bit more challenging. The classes were structured at a certain time in the evenings, and working in sports, we have events, all sporting events are in everyone else's leisurely time. So that includes nights and weekends. So that was a little bit more tough, but my coworkers understood the priority of education, especially working in higher education and collegiate athletics. So they worked with me, but my professors, I could have asked for a better group to understand my end goal of what I wanted to do and have them back me up in that.
Thank you. Leslie, you want to chime in?
Yeah, sure. I think I've hit some of the key things in there. It's, you know, it's the flexibility of your schedule. If you become very adept at time management, you know, and the toughest parts of that is always if you had like a group project, because people work at different speeds and you know, on different schedules, and they're in different parts of the country. But certainly if you're organized, and I was one that I like to take the lead to make sure like my assignment was in, because I knew very specifically, like I was on the field, let's say in the afternoons, like Iva, when most people are on the leisure time, we're on the field working. I was in the office during the day. So I would be in the office as in my GM role at the club, and then I would be on the field coaching, and then I would choose the time at night when I could get the most done. And a lot of times for me, it's when most people went to bed, because that's when the phone stopped going, the email stopped coming. And so I was very good at that, like 10 to 1 window. and then I would have to decompress because then you're studying, you're doing classes. And so then I would, but I had a good flexible schedule when I went into work because I knew I would start at like 10 a.m. and I would go from 10 till 5, 10 till 6 on the field, from 6 till 8. And then, you kind of go from there. So the fact that the coursework for the week is already set out for you, you knew, okay, if I get my reading done early, or if I had to do it all, let's say before Friday, because then on weekends I'd be on the field most of the weekend, all day, all night, and so I try to get all the bulk of my work done, let's say from Monday to Thursday, and then in case I was traveling on a Friday, and then if we had a quiz or anything, then I would work that in there. Sometimes on a Sunday I would get it done, but I think because there's a lot of flexibility with how you can structure your schedule within some type of organized way, because everything's set out for you week by week. It was much easier than I thought it would be in the online version. And this was like pre-COVID when online became the in thing, right? But this was like we were kind of like setting the stall for how it's gonna look. So I think it really helps you with your time management skills. And as a student athlete playing in college, that was one of the biggest things to be able to be successful, was to be able to manage time. So this was second nature to me, just to be able to do it. And I think this format like really, really helped me to excel, because as Iva said, if you get into the in-person and it's a little bit more rigorous and structured in terms of when you had to be in person in class, that would be a little bit more challenging.
Absolutely. Elliot, question. If you had to say how many hours you put in per day or per week while you were doing the program, what would you estimate?
That's a great question. Because I was a little older than most of my peers, or I think I was older than all of them. I probably required more time than they did. So I probably put in more than they did. I'm going to say probably 30 hours a week, I would say, in reading assignments, writing assignments, the discussion board that you had to post and comment on your peers' writings. But again, touching on what Iva and Leslie mentioned, once you figure out the rhythm of what is due on what days of the week, you'll find a system that works for you with your schedule. So those 30 hours were not all on Saturday and Sunday. It could have been maybe I had a light day at work on Mondays, and I could have put in maybe 4 hours on Monday and maybe 3 on Tuesday. Maybe Wednesday was an off day for me. So you're going to find that every class has deliverables that are usually on, I believe it was Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That Saturday is usually a quiz or an exam, but your deliverables were usually Tuesday and Thursday. So I knew that I had to have my work in for those days. I had to be there. So I could do it on Monday, if Monday was a good day for me. So time management is a way to accomplish these tasks. But total number of hours, probably in the 30s, 30, 35. I think that's honest.
Thank you. Wendy, University of Miami has a far-reaching alumni network and connections to leading sport franchises. How does the online program help students leverage these connections to build a successful career within the sports industry, no matter where they're located?
Well, I'll go back to what Iva said about our network. So the University of Miami, whether you're on campus or online, we have an extremely diverse and far-reaching network, which we're really proud of. So number one, we have alums all over the country, all over the world. So we have a very big network domestically and globally. So that really helps us tap into people almost anywhere someone wants to go. So our first kind of line of defense is to reach out to alums that are working in areas where our students want to be. Iva mentioned the private Facebook page that Professor Resnick runs. So everyone who's a current Kane or an alum can, be can request access to that page and get confirmed by Professor Resnick, and all of our alum can network together. Again, like she said, we encourage everyone to post volunteer events, internships, jobs on that page. We have a little phrase called Canes hiring Canes. So a lot of our alums like to reach out to us first and see if there are qualified candidates before they post jobs on these large job sites and open them up to everyone. Because if you know anything about the sport industry, you can get hundreds, if not thousands, of applications for entry-level positions. I see Iva shaking her head. She's been through stacks of applications like this. So if you can get a head start by having other canes, like she said, that are qualified, what type of program they've been through, the skill set that they have. If you can maybe interview some of those folks first and get a head start before opening those jobs up to everyone, that's not only a benefit for our students who are inside of that network, but it also it helps those industry professionals hire more efficiently as well. Again, Professor Resnick is a dedicated internship and community relations professional. So even if he doesn't have a connection with a direct alum, he knows a lot of people at a lot of different sport organizations, again, both domestically and globally, because he has to oversee every single student who does an internship with us, whether it's undergrad, graduate, online. So he knows so many people at sport organizations because they are intern supervisors for our students. So they may not be alums of our program, but they know him very intimately because he works with them on a week in and week out basis, overseeing our interns that are in those organizations. Also, all of our faculty, every single one has a terminal degree, but we have all worked in the industry in our given areas. So we all also have connections with folks in the area that we're knowledgeable in. So I work with students all the time who have an interest in marketing or branding or sponsorship or want to work in the areas that I've been in. We have a lot of guest speakers come into our classes from the sport industry. So the students just get direct access to industry professionals who are speaking in their classes. So we have a lot of different avenues and strategies that we take to get students connected. But basically, if the student wants to put in the work and the student wants to put in the time and volunteer or network or Zoom with someone or come to a conference or go to a networking social, if they're willing to put in the work, we'll put them in contact with someone who can either mentor them, hire them, or give them advice to make them a more viable candidate.
Thank you. So we are almost out of time. I want to thank you all for sharing all of that great information. Yeah, we hope that you will join us in this wonderful, wonderful program. As we stated earlier, we are in the process of accepting applications for our fall semester. Please connect with one of our enrollment advisors. They would love to help walk you through that process. Our early admission deadline is going to be Monday, July 10th. So keep that in mind. Also, thank you for joining us tonight. And because you joined us tonight, we are going to offer you a $300 deposit fee waiver, okay? Just make sure you make that deadline of Monday, July 10th. And there's a QR code at the bottom of your screen that'll take you right to our application. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. Have a great night.